lanzamiento de balón. Y el arco iris de Darius Garland, su cuarto triple de la noche.
Welcome to the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway. Thank you for joining us on Bally Sports Ohio. Now, here are your hosts, John Michael and Rafa Hernandez-Brito.
It is the Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway alongside Rafa Hernandez-Brito. I am John Michael. Welcome aboard for this episode. Rafa, 20 games in, 10-10, beginning of the season. Would you have taken it?
I would have signed anywhere you asked me to sign, especially the way we have won those 10 games and the way we have lost the other 10 games, because 10-10 this season compared to 10-10 last season is a totally different picture, John. But before we get into all this basketball thing, let me say to everybody, the millions watching us on Bally Sports Ohio, this episode of Wine and Gold Show marks the beginning of the holiday season. Now it's officially. Forget about the fact that you set up the Christmas tree during Thanksgiving, and now we're in the holiday season.
Yeah, here we go. Let me guess. You have an issue about people who celebrations and Christmas before Thanksgiving. I didn't want to get it. We don't have enough time. Well, you know why? Because we do have a packed show. You had a chance to catch up with the Charge, the NBA G League affiliate of the Cavaliers, moving to Cleveland, which is fantastic, right? It's right in the Cavs' backyard. Dan Geroit, who'd been an assistant with the Cavaliers, now is the head coach of the Charge. Interesting transition, and you caught up with him to talk about that.
Talk about a lot of things, especially the things that we have been talking about when the announcement was made, John, with the fact that now they practice at Cleveland Clinic courts, the fact that I can walk to Woolstein Center and I don't even have to worry about anything other than just sit front row to watch the Charge. They're fun to watch, and obviously we love Big Dan. He's always been a good friend of the show and to us, so I'm a little worried about my over-under on the technical foul that we had with Joe G, but we talked to him about that as well.
Joe Gabriele will be along on the show. Joe, of course, beat writer for the Cavs at Cavs.com. And then Dean Wade. You and Joe had a chance to catch up with Dean. We're going to get into this in the second half of the show. Part of the 10-10 record, I think the Cavs are happy about, not only the schedule, but the injuries, right? I mean, you look at a schedule, first off, before the season begins, they play the first 25 games are a bear, and then they are, and they have been. And this team has passed with flying colors. Again, some on the outside might say 500. Well, you look at what this team has done. It's been impressive, particularly when you consider the injuries. And we are going to deal with that in the second half of the show. The Cavs are, starting to get almost whole again. That jumbo lineup intact once more. But Dean Wade was a player who really stepped up, and the Cavs have had many to be able to preserve, a level where they want to be. Wade moves into that starting lineup and he does the job. Rafa, it's been the case for this young man through his first 3 seasons here in the NBA.
And I think, John, to summarize all of that is the fact that thank God November is done for the Cavaliers, because it was really hard on us with the injuries. It kind of mirrored what happened to us last season when everybody in the same position was injured. We lost the jumbo lineup. We have one starter for almost the second half of the month. But again, you have to take the good from the lessons, the losses, and the wins, obviously. But the fact that I believe that everybody is believing in what J.B. Bickerstaff and his staff has put on the table, and, we talked about roles, we talk about everybody doing whatever they're supposed to do, but this group is together, and this group is really believing that we are ready to do that something big that we've been talking about for the last couple of years is really in the horizon if we stay the way we've been playing.
And it's one thing to say it. A lot of teams say it. A lot of teams in different seasons say it. But I think when it's authentic, it does manifest itself out on the floor, and that's what we've seen out of the Cavaliers through the first 20 games. We'll take a break. More Wine and Gold Show right after this. We'll have Canton Charge head coach Dan Geroit straight ahead.
Welcome back, everybody, and we continue receiving holiday visits, and we are joined by the new
head coach of the Cleveland Charge, Dan Geroit, no relation to Al. Welcome. Happy holidays. How you been?
Happy holidays. We've been doing great. We've been doing very well. A little break from games, but now we're excited getting back after it on the practice floor, and then obviously after Thanksgiving we got a back-to-back in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, so many questions to ask you about that. You just threw me an alley-oop there. How is the practicing going now that you are here at Cleveland Clinic Courts and you're able to share the facilities? You're only blocks away from the field house at Woolstein Center. How is that working out? Is it coming out as planned, as we had thought about it was going to be a benefit for everybody?
Yeah, I even think it's better than we had initially kind of planned it out. We're at the clinic courts basically 90% of our time, which is great. So we're working hand in hand with them, with the Cavs and the training staff and the coaching staff of what their practice plans look like, and then how we can get into the facility and how we do it healthy, safely, all that kind of stuff. And then with our setup, it's basically, I've been joking, but it's like it's Cavs light. Like we had the same. We have Chef Terry. We have all these unbelievable amenities that the Cavaliers have that the Charge get to have and produce with. It's an amazing experience from the players that are on our team. That what they tell me, they're having time of their life.
And that was what I wanted to ask you that, because most of these guys, some of them have been in the G League, and it has been a big change for them in terms of facilities, in terms of amenities. That has to be in a way inspiring, for the players.
Yeah, they're excited. They have a great. They come to work, produce, have hard work, great work ethic, and then I think like yesterday we finished practice. They were there for I would probably say another 20, 30 minutes, like unbeknownst to us. Like we were getting ready, the coaching staff getting ready to get out of there. The ball's still bouncing. We're in there. We go in there. We help them out. So it's been a lot of fun.
Does the fact that you have time for practice a lot more than you do in the NBA helps a lot for these kids?
I think so, because you can put them in a lot of different situations. I think in the NBA, some of your reps and situations are in the games. We've gone through it with some of our development programs with the Cavaliers. Some of the reps, because there's so many games and they're just one on top of another, with our practice time being so much more, we're able to practice. I like to say we practice pretty efficiently because it's not long, but it's the right stuff. And then that's where we get to fail correctly. That's kind of word I've been using a good amount, because if you fail correctly, now you know what that scale up's going to look like. And I think that's where Kyle Guy specifically has made kind of inroads pretty quickly.
And we're looking at the screen at the schedule coming up in December. For all of you, we're at the Woolstein Center. I got to go because it's walking distance from my home. ClevelandCharge.com is where you can find not only the information about everything that's going on with the Charge, but also to buy tickets. Great seats at the Woolstein Center. Almost every seat is a good seat to come and watch some basketball. And basically the future of the NBA.
Yeah, the star. I mean, it is that whole Stars of Tomorrow piece. Even the opposing teams, like you get guys that are assigned from NBA teams. You get guys that are assigned, as injury, they need to get games repetitions, and it's a great idea to assign them to the G League and have them play.
I know you've been busy in the front lines of the inaugural season for the Cleveland Charge, but even though you're not in the front lines, I don't want to say you're in the outside, but you're no longer sweating it in the front row at the Cavalier games. What's your take from that side, from where you are right now? You're still very involved. We see you in practice and everything, but we're a fun team to watch. We're a fun team to just experience every day. We compete. We've been in every game. Yes. Obviously, we don't take moral victories, Dan, and you know this, but
for sure.
But there are lessons from those losses.
No question.
What's your take on the job that JB Bickerstaff, Kobe Altman, and everybody else in that staff have been doing with the kids?
No, I mean, extremely above average. You know what I mean? I think we're feeling the energy of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse again. Yeah. I think that's the fun part. I was talking with Jetty the other day about it, and he was like, that felt like we're making the right strides. When you're in that building, you come back versus the Celtics, all that kind of stuff. So I think, and it's all based upon what our foundations are. We are gritty. Our toughness, our competition, our obsession with the details. It's paying off. It's paying dividends. Now we influx, Ricky Rubio, Evan Mobley, and they're in with where the ship is going. And that's where with JB and Kobe and the way we're building this thing, you know, and it's good for me this year as I've taken that kind of step outside of those front lines. You know, I have a kind of like that, like overlooking view of how it's going, what it's looking like and all that. And I think the buy-in from everybody to give what they have, you know, I think that's the energy piece that I think the city's feeling. I think we're close to obviously being back to healthy. You know, marketing comes back. That's a big sign for us. Jarrett comes back. That's great. Now we get a chance to make that next step and continue to compete through the season. And I think, you know, for us, I mean, the potential is right there. You know, it's just about us day by day having that understanding of how we're gonna, as the Cavaliers, how we're gonna continue to win these games.
And I know we're a fun team, and just to finish this up, how important is it, or how big a part of the whole process is the fact that it is very obvious that the guys believe in what we're doing here, independent of the result?
No, I think it's everything. I think JB's built this identity that I think, and on the coaching side as well, we've all started to get behind. You know, when he took over 2.5 years ago, before, you know, the COVID season ended, we all started getting behind that wagon, and we're ready to keep going and keep pushing. And now I think we're starting to see like the fruits of that labor. And now we'll be able to see throughout the whole season how that competition level keeps rising.
Excellent, and we can't wait to keep watching the Cavs impress us all. We can't wait to see the Cleveland Charge at the Woolstein Center. ClevelandCharge.com for tickets and everything else and information. Happy holidays to you and your family. And just so you know, not important, but I took the over on the 1.5 technical for the season for Coach Dan.
We're still at zero. We're still at zero. It got close, though.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, thank you.
Dan Geroit, head coach of the Cleveland Charge.
We're back here on the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway. Always fun catching up with Big Dan, isn't it, Rafa?
I love him. And I was easy on him. I didn't talk to him about Eagles, even though the Eagles have a chance to make the playoff. But he asked me, he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you only talk about the Eagles when they're hitting the skin. Just to stick it to them. Hey, you and Joe G, host of the Wine and Gold radio show, had a chance to catch up with Dean Wade, right?
Yeah, the truth is we wanted to do a takeover of the radio show on the TV show, but, you know, production wouldn't allow us. So we are sharing this chat that we have with another one of our favorites, John, Dean Wade, one of those guys that have put in the work and has played whenever his number has been called, has done really well. Sometimes it doesn't show in the scoreboard, in the score box, but he's been doing what he's been asked to do. And we talked to him about being Dean Wolf again. And we talked to him also, his Def Leppard t-shirts. I know Joe G liked Def Leppard, so it was a fun chat with him.
It caught him on a good day. It really is Dean Wade. Take a watch.
What is it like post game for you after a win? I mean, do you drive home blasting music and going nuts? Or what's it like? What's
absolutely.
Like? Yeah?
Absolutely. You know, if we win, I'm driving home, windows down, radio turned up as loud as I can.
Yeah.
Probably playing "We Are the Champions" or something, some from that era. But yeah, for a win, last night a little different.
Yeah.
A little shot ourselves in the foot a little bit last night. Definitely should have had that one, let that one slip. But there's a lot of games left, and you just got to keep the positive mindset. You can't let this loss linger or anything. Just keep it, keep it rolling.
What's the process, man? Because as fans, and even for myself as a broadcaster, I hate losing. Especially when I see you guys working hard every day, and I know, we're not going to go undefeated and everything like that. But what's the process to make sure you let that go and just learn from what happened? You said we shot ourselves in the foot. At the end of the day, we had the shot to win it. It didn't go in, right? It happened.
Right.
But what's that process between last night and today to just get going and concentrate on Detroit?
I think a lot of it just has to do with, in the locker room after the game, just talking with the teammates, just trying to talk what you did wrong and really just trying to learn from it. And once you learn from it, we came in this morning, watched a little bit of film on it, but you just can't let it linger. We only watched like 5 minutes of film on last night's game, and then we just moved right on to Detroit. And so, that just a quick memory, just you got to let it go. You got to learn from your mistakes, and then just flush everything else.
It's literally on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't dwell on it.
Literally, you have 82 games, and the next one rolls up so fast you can't you can't not focus on it.
Yeah.
I got to back up to game night. Can you sleep after games, win or loss?
No, it doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. Losses is just painful, painful. But I'm up till like 3, just laying in bed, just thinking about the game. Even in wins, I still stay up late, just thinking about the game. So, it's definitely hard to sleep after games. But I will say, when it's a loss, it just kind of hurts a little more.
Yeah.
What do you do on the road, though? Because I always have a hard time when we get into a city. The other day in Phoenix, for example, or when we travel at night and we get in to LA at 2 in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to go. I mean, it's 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to go to sleep.
No, that time change, and then on top of that, not be able to sleep after games and stuff like that. It just makes it's hard. It's tough. That. Hopefully, when you travel to, from the East Coast to the West Coast, stuff like that, you have a day in between where you can just kind of like reset, sleep in a little longer, walk around, find some good food spots, stuff like that. But if not, you just kind of got to wake up and then just try to focus. And hopefully your pregame nap is a good one. You can sleep for 3 hours or something like that. But, sometimes that doesn't happen, and you just got to focus.
Do you close all the shades and turn the phone off and everything?
Oh, yeah, I close the shades. I'll put, like, a chair next to the shade so there's no cracks and no sun gets in. Yeah, I'm like, you can't see anything. Can't see anything.
Like John Michael, he turns the heat up to like 85.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I definitely don't do that one either.
Yeah, I like it like normal, but I shut my phone off. I turn it off. I don't put it on vibrating or anything. I just turn it off. But that nap is key.
Oh, it's
pregame. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I take a nap every pregame. Sometimes it's like a 30-minute nap. I like force myself to go to sleep, but then if you're on the road, I might be asleep for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
like
that's a good sleep too in a big hotel bed.
Yeah,
that's kind of nice.
I wake up, can't see anything. I'm out of it.
You've been on a roll, man. I mean, you go from just working yourself, being ready, to getting your number called, and now you're on a starting streak. Mm-hmm. You gotta be happy with the way this season is going. Other than the fact that we got a winning record and the good group we have going, but for you personally, I mean, your hard work is the best example that it does pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to say I'm like happy for injuries and stuff like that. Obviously not, but I'm glad that I was prepared when my number was called, even if it's at a different position that I'm used to, things like that. But this season's been we're off to a good start. We let one slip, but we got plenty of games to make up for that. For me personally, being thrown into the starting lineup just like last year. Same thing kind of happened. We had injuries, and I just kind of got thrown in. And so this year I was like, as long as you just stay the course, keep working hard every day, there's a pretty high chance that your number's going to get called at some point in time. Definitely didn't expect to be this early, things like that. But I just got to do whatever we got to do to win, help the team win. That's just going out and playing defense as hard as I can every game. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Now, you were with the team, obviously. Last year was your rookie year, a weird rookie year, no fans in the stands, just kind of a weird COVID year. What's different about this team than last year's team? And Rafa and I kind of talked about you guys taking ownership. You feel like it's your team now. All you young guys, it's your team. Is that kind of the mentality you guys have right now?
Yeah, I think the difference between last year and this year is just 1 year growth and really just taking it all in and really believing in this group of guys we have. We got a lot of really, really talented young guys that have really bought in this year. And also we got a mix of good vets that lead us in the right direction, stuff like that. So I think just being a year older than we were last year, and been thrown in the fire a little bit. We had rough stretches last year, things like that. But we've learned a lot, and I think the young guys, Darius, Isaac, Colin, all those guys that have just really taken this team and really made it their own, is just taking us to a whole new level. And I really think that we'll be able to keep this little streak that we've had so far and just push it all the way through the season.
And I got to ask about the barking, because I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where did that originate, and like who's the leader of that? And
Lamar.
Okay.
Lamar. Yeah. So we were on the bench, and there's a guy in the corner, and he caught the ball, and then Lamar was just all of a sudden standing right behind him, just barking at him. And I was like, kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was like, oh man, I don't know what's going on. But it was like a loud bark. And Lamar was like a foot away from this guy, and he's barking at him. And the guy passed the ball, and he just kind of turns and starts laughing. And it was like, Well, it worked then. And then, yeah. And then he hasn't really ever stopped barking. And then once he started barking, the rest of the bench started kind of, chipping in. And then all of a sudden, once the bench kind of chipped in, everyone was in it. Everyone was barking. Pregame you hear like when we huddle up, barking, stuff like that. It's just like a mentality, a dog mentality. You come out and just be a dog every game. And also, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun just to see everyone bark and stuff like that. So
he barked really loud at Daniel Gafford last night, man, with that poster dunk. That was amazing to see. We're running short of time, but I wanted to ask you. First, I want to tell everybody from my audience that I'm the only one in the world that is in possession of an autographed picture of Dean Wolf. Right? Remember that event we did with Gatorade, right? Yeah. Can you share the story of how the Dean Wolf thing came about?
Yeah. So I was in college, and we had a long stretch of games at home, and my barber was out of town or something like that, and I just let my hair and beard just go. And it was like 2 months of me just letting it go, and no trims, nothing. And our assistant coach, Coach Frazier, who's at Illinois now, was like, man, you look like the Teen Wolf kid. And I was like, Teen Wolf kid? And he's like, yeah. And so he's like, next game, I'm running out to start a lineup, and he's like, just yells, Dean Wolf. And then it stuck. And then like everyone was Dean Wolf. I had people in the stands with like Dean Wolf signs. I was like, like no way this happened. No way I could let this happen. But yeah, that's how it started. Coach Frazier kind of threw it at me, and it somehow stuck. I don't know how.
Then it went away, and we brought it back.
Yeah, it went away. I was like, okay, we're good. And then he brought it back. Yeah.
And now I can't call you anything else. Now it's in my head.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know how this name sticks, but like one person hears it, and then it's just like everyone has it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, I know we're short on time. We got to ask you one more thing. I know we're getting yanked off the air here. You wear the Def Leppard sweatshirt, and I think you brought it back this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So you're kind of a music guy.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
But put it to him real quick. Beatles or Stones?
Oh,
dude, come on.
Beatles or Stones?
You.
I'm gonna go with the Stones.
Of course. Yeah. Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Get the hell out of here.
Yes, of course.
The great Dean Wade.
Dean Wolf doesn't look like a teeny bopper band, you know?
Yeah. I just don't know that much music from the Beatles, so I'm saying I'm an unbiased opinion. But,
thank you, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Keep moving, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway. Do I sound like Joe Michael? Well, I'm always trying to sound like the captain, John Michael. I'm Rafa Hernandez-Brito, joined by my co-host on the Wine and Gold radio show, Joe G, a.k.a. founder of the internet, founder of NBA.com, and founder of Wine and Gold Radio, the podcast that you should be listening to wherever you consume your podcast. How are you? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. As you
Why
know,
you all dressed up? A beautiful sweater,
well,
got the Santa hat.
Hey, as I think you know, man, the minute I flush out Thanksgiving dinner the next day, I jump right into Christmas, right into holidays. Yeah.
Are you like a full Christmas dude, like carols and everything?
No, not really. I don't even put up
So
I don't even have like a little Charlie Brown tree. I got nothing.
My Christmas trees has always been a chia pet, a chia head.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's always been my Christmas tree.
Do you have like different kinds, like a Bob Ross?
Yeah,
or?
I have all kinds of chia heads.
And what do you have? What do you have going this year?
I have a chia head of one of the Yankee giveaways they had a couple of years ago at Yankee Stadium. So we had a thing. But I heard it's the season of giving.
It is, yes.
We already gave thanks, so now we received.
Yeah. So
and what do you got for us?
I got a little pick'ems. I brought, I like to come. I don't like to come empty-handed, so I got a little pick'ems. You guys, you want to?
I'm picking for John and myself.
Yeah.
Time,
so I mean, are you
unanimous?
Are you confident answering for him?
It's gonna be a unanimous pick. So.
Okay. Let's start with basketball. Rookie of the Year runner-up, because we know who the Rookie of the Year is going to be. Rookie of the Year runner-up: Scotty Barnes or Franz Wagner.
I haven't seen Wagner much.
But you're going to.
But I'm going to see him, yeah. But I like what Scotty has done. What we saw when we played that game in Toronto, and I seen a couple of the Raptors games as we prepared for that broadcast. So I like what I see from him, but for sure, I think our number 4.
Yeah, that's Rookie of the Year.
Is the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. They're fighting over second place at this point. I really do think that. You're a dog guy.
Yes.
You're a dog guy. Vestry, Kevin Love's beloved dog. I'm not sure what type of dog it is, or Moondog, our collective dog.
Is Moondog a companion dog or a what is it called? A therapy?
Like
can
a therapy
can
dog.
Moondog
He
be
is.
considered a therapy dog?
I definitely think so because he makes me laugh on a nightly basis. He was hilarious a few nights ago against Brooklyn. Against Brooklyn when
he was
James
going for
Johnson
James
lost his
Johnson.
shoe.
Yeah.
Moondog was killing me with that. That was really funny.
I'll go with Moondog because I think Vestry is an exclusive.
Yeah,
It's in an exclusive relationship with K-Love.
That's true.
So I don't think Vestry could give us the love that she gives Kevin. So I'll
Very
go
good.
with Moondog, who loves everybody and is everybody's dog.
Right, he's got to be 2,000 people's dog.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Halftime act, speaking of dogs, halftime act, Christian and Scooby or the amazing Zlatic?
Oh, it's Christian and Scooby for sure. But I don't think I'm being, I don't want to say biased here, but Christian is my friend, and I love Scooby, and now there's a new one. It's called Milo. And by the way,
A new dog?
yeah. By the way, Scooby is the original one, but Percy is the one that has been performing for the last couple of years. Percy, named after the receiver from the Vikings. Christian is a big Vikings fan.
So he's
and now it's Milo, who is being trained to. He even dunks the ball now because he grabs the ball with his mouth and walks in 2 feet and then dunks the ball. But he's still not ready for I guess the big show. So he's still Percy doing the Scooby person.
One of the most Rafa stories of all time was that Christian was sitting next to you. I don't know if Scooby was there too, the dog. But Christian was sitting next to you when Larry Nance.
When Larry Nance beat the buzzer in
Right,
Indiana.
in Indiana.
That was his first game winner, I think. And you can actually hear Christian's voice.
Yeah.
You can actually hear his voice in my open because I used that play. Because that night, what came out of my mouth was the other kid from Akron just won the game.
Yeah.
So, and you can hear Christian going like, offensive rebound. So for sure, Christian and Scooby hands down.
Only Rafa could have the halftime act sitting next to him, as he called the game winner. I want to do a couple Christmas things. Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I never seen It's a Wonderful Life because it's black and white.
What?
I refuse to watch black and white stuff. I had to deal with watching
That's
black and white TV when I was a kid until I will never forget the day we got a color TV. So I never watched. Which one is The Wonderful Life? That the one with the guy that goes
Jimmy
broke?
Stewart, where he all of a sudden he loses everything. He wishes he had a different life. Then he loses everything. His whole family. He never existed, and it shows him.
Right there, I don't like the movie.
Oh my God.
No, for sure, Lampoon.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Christmas Vacation.
Not watching a black and white movie. That's a whole. We have to talk about that.
I'll tell you an even sadder story. I do remember who Santa Claus was. When I was 4 years old, I always wanted a train track, and I had asked my parents, I want a train track for Christmas. And I remember seeing my mom had a couple of boxes in a room in the house, and one of them looked like a train track, and it was like a little rectangle.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, all right, Santa. So Christmas tree gets up, and then I see this box wrapped, and it was like I thought it was for me. And then my mom grabbed it and gave it to my oldest brother, and then gave me a cube. And it was around the time with like the U.S. was going to space, and gave me, it was like a flying saucer that lit up.
That's kind of cool, right?
And I opened it up and I grabbed it and I said, "Stupid Santa, I wanted a train track," and smashed it in front of everybody.
See, this is where it all stems from. This is where it stems from. Your anger,
I was
man.
disappointed at Santa, man. I was very clear. I wanted a train. And you know what I did when I bought my first home? I put up a Christmas tree and I went and bought the biggest train track I could find, and I had it running all day, the whole month, the whole holiday season.
That's kind of a beautiful. That wound up being a very pretty holiday story. Let's go back to basketball real quick. We have the All-Star game coming up here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Anybody could make it from any team, obviously. From our team, let's just break it down to two guys: Jared Allen or Darius Garland. Who makes the All-Star team if we have a representative this year, which I think we will?
I would think that it would be Jared because of the competition that Darius will have at that position. And you have to remember that it is a a popularity contest. He's really not the guy that really deserves to be there. Obviously, the reserves are picked. I don't even know how he's done now. But now with the fact that if you retweet the counts, we would really need the support from our fans to get behind this. But I think they both deserve. Darius looked amazing lately, dribbling that ball and penetrated and everything and scoring. But for sure, I think when it comes to the picture as a whole, I think Jared has a better chance to make it as a starter because of what's going on in that position the way he has really shown that we missed him. But I think Darius has a lot more competition, a lot of bigger names that people think. We still, JB mentioned it after the Brooklyn game that it's going to be a while until we get the respect.
Yeah.
And I think that also has to do with it, the fact that people still don't see us. I mean, we haven't even been on national TV yet. We're probably the most fun team to watch in the whole of NBA. And I hope that our fans get behind it and we have a good representation in the All-Star game coming up. It's going to be here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Yeah, it's big. Fans have to get involved this year because we want to see at least one Cav on that floor for the All-Star game, for sure.
At least
in
one. The starting one, at least.
At least one.
And then more than one in the whole thing.
Yeah, and we'll have obviously.
We'll definitely have representation in the
Isaac
Chinese.
in the.
What's it called? The
Rising Stars Challenge. Yeah. So we should have a lot of representation. That's important.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you
for coming and joining me on this version of a Wine and Gold show. I wanted to ask you: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Man, that's a good question. Yes.
All right. We agree on something. We'll be back with more Wine and Gold show presented by Betway.
Yeah, it's the Wine and Gold show presented by Betway. At the top of the telecast, Rafa, we began by talking about the Cavs' first 20 games. All right, heading into the season, Cavs knew that 19 of their first 25 games would be against playoff teams from last season. Another 3 against teams that qualified for the play-in tournament, one of which was Golden State. So that makes 22 of those 25 games. 8 of the Cavs' first 11 were on the road, and they're able to navigate a 10-10 record through 20 games. And, we've talked about this before. There are no moral victories in the NBA. A number of those losses, 2 that came to Brooklyn, the one that came to Golden State, and the one that came to Phoenix. Actually, those were 4 games in a row. Cavs are right there. They were close in all 4 games. And while you don't feel good about those games, the Cavs did represent themselves well. All things considered, I think you have to love the start going 10-10 through those first 20, no matter which way you slice it.
You have to love it, John. And like I always say, and I keep repeating in my broadcast, the Cavs are in a situation, a position where they have wins and lessons, really not losses, because you mentioned that stretch of games against Brooklyn, Golden State, Phoenix. Yes, we have to learn how to finish games. Yes, this is a young crew that needs to learn how to win and play together. But at the same time, injuries are a bigger role in the results in this game than the learning and the needing to learn how to win did. Because for sure we had all those teams in the ropes, including Golden State at 13, but we had just come back from Brooklyn on a back-to-back and a really tough game over there. So, and we're playing against a team that has done it, has been playing together for a while. So I'm taking it. I'm signing whatever you want me to sign on this 10-10. And also, I'm really looking forward to what the future holds for us, even though I am not one of those that think that the schedule is going to get easy now. Because in the NBA, first of all, nobody feels bad for you. Like, nobody will feel bad for us that when we come back from this road trip, we're going to have a massive week of 5 games with 2 back-to-backs on each end. And again, we'll take also whenever we get teams playing on back-to-backs or tie or 4-3 and 4, whatever you want to call it. But I'll sign. I'll take it.
Yeah, and we're going to look at that December schedule in a moment, which is not for the faint of heart. But if we, when we talk about would you take it 10-10 after 20 games, completely healthy, I think you would have taken 10-10 after 20 games. You touched on it. The Cavs, you look at this opening night starting lineup, right? Darius Garland early, was lost for 2 games. Colin Sexton, we know what's happened to Colin, heartbreaking, right? I mean, Colin's been lost the season. Lauri Markkanen, he missed 9 games to health and safety protocol. Evan Mobley missed 4 games to the elbow injury. Jared Allen, 3 games to illness. By the way, Cavs without Allen in the lineup have not won a game. The Cavs without Mobley in the lineup have not won a game. Now, again, those coincided with some of the tougher teams in the NBA, but I think it goes to show you the impact that those bigs have had. But again, back to the original point, Rafa, considering all those injuries, you would have thought that there's no way that this team goes 500 considering the schedule and the injuries through 20 games to open up the season.
Goes 500 or stays in games with this team. I mean, we played a Nets team with Durant and Harden going at it. I mean, Harden had to really pull aces out of his sleeve to make sure the Nets won those games.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. I mean, you even look at the Phoenix game. I mean, Booker was sensational. He had to be spectacular in that game. Paul did what he needed to do, and I think that's been the case, throughout the entire season. So now, can the Cavaliers keep it up? They go into a rough December. The Cavs are in the middle of this 3-game road trip right now: Dallas, Miami, then on to DC against, once again, 3 of the better teams in the NBA. How about the upcoming week, Rafa? 5 games in a single calendar week, the week of December 5th, with 2 back-to-backs on the bookends.
And the tough part about that is like home and away and away
Right.
and home on the back-to-backs. And we're going to Minnesota, which is usually on a West Coast swing. We're going to Minnesota and coming back to play home and then to have a day off, obviously, after a back-to-back and a home game again. So it is going to be one of those things where maybe we benefit, John, from the fact that all these other guys in the rotation have gotten minutes because of the injuries and they're in sync with the offense. I think that's one of the things that I love about JB Bickerstaff, that has everybody playing the same style of basketball, whoever it is that's on the court. Rubio might have to pull out those 37-minute games the way he did during this stretch that we just talked about. And I have to say, Jared Allen, first time ever winning the Eastern Conference Player of the Year, but I would like to hear him talk more about the most improved player this season, because he's really having season highs on almost everything during this season for him, and he has been the foundation, him and Mobley, I think, and also the connection of Garland and Allen, who is starting to show that they are really speaking to themselves only a way that they know how to.
Yeah, more than starting. I think they've been in sync since the beginning of the season. I think you touch on something that is really interesting, and Allen's numbers speak for themselves. You mentioned it, the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, most improved. I like it. I mean, he's been asked to do different things than he ever did during his seasons in Brooklyn, and he's embraced it. We heard him talk about signing the new lucrative deal during the off season. He didn't relax. He got better. He was in here early this summer, one of the first players into Cleveland, and it has shown. He's playing with confidence, usually more reserved, but you're seeing more and more emotion out of this guy, and he's becoming a real leader for this team. You touched on something really important, Rafa. This team does not win 10 of those first 20 games without players stepping up.
And I think, don't forget Kevin Love, who has done an amazing job coming off the bench as well. He has done what we have been expecting of him to do. And again, credit to JB Bickerstaff, his whole staff, Kobe Altman, who pushed the right buttons in the offseason. Larry Markkanen, Rubio we mentioned, signing Allen. Everything is working great. We just need a little luck on the health side, and these guys will really play. And like JB Bickerstaff says, they believe and they're hungry. So I'll take that.
I mean, think about it quickly as we're running up against a break here about the offseason signings by Kobe, and the trades, right? You trade to get Lauri Markkanen. Last year was the trade, by the way, to bring Jared Allen into town. You draft Evan Mobley and you trade for Ricky Rubio, right? And there's your foundation. You've already drafted Okoro and Garland and Sexton, but you want to talk about making, expanding that foundation, expanding other than Ricky, a young core. Markkanen's a young guy. When you look at that jumbo lineup, all young guys, all under Cavaliers control, when you look at it from a management perspective over the next couple of seasons. So I think it spells great things for this organization. We'll take that break and be back to wrap things up right after this. We are back here to close up shop as the Cavaliers get set to navigate the month of December. Are you ready, Rafa? I mean, I don't know if you need to pack or what. Are you emotionally prepared to get going here in this month, which is going to be treacherous in terms of travel and in terms of games?
I gotta believe, John, and one of the things I always do is, we get to watch practice all the time. So on holidays or on days that we're supposed to be off, but if the team is practicing, I like to go so they see that I'm also in there with the team. So I'm in all the way, and I believe what's going on. Bring it on, December.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, and hopefully the Cavaliers continue to trend in the right direction. The jumbo pack is back. Cavs getting ready to win some basketball games in this holiday month. For Rafa, I'm John. So long, everybody. This has been the Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway.